So I'm going to make a play on a Swedish apple cake. It's apple, pear and cinnamon cake, which I hope you'll enjoy. And I'm going to make it with all my Aldi ingredients. Here's a 9-inch square brownie tin. Put some baking parchment in it, ready. And I've put my oven onto gas mark 4. I'll put the conversions there for you. And I've got in my mixer here 110 grams of butter and 150 grams of sugar, and that's brown sugar, the brown sugar that we bought at Aldi and the butter that we have from Aldi. And I'm going to mix this together until it's lightly creamed. So let's get on with that. Once your mixture is nice and light and fluffy, it's time to add 2 larger eggs, one at a time, into your bowl. So tap, everybody says tap it on the, don't find it's any good, I've got to be honest. I prefer to tap it on the side of something, but never mind. So there's 1 in, and give it a good mix. Okay, at this stage, give your bowl a bit of a scrape down because we need all the stuff off the sides to help this come together. Try not to get covered, which is what I usually do. Then pop egg number 2 in. Sharp tap. And in it goes. And of course, these are my Aldi eggs. Okay, next I'm going to add 210 grams of self-raising flour. That's the self-raising flour, again, that I bought from Aldi. And to that, I'm going to add from my store cupboard 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and ½ teaspoon of salt into my flour. We're going to give that a mix, just with a spoon, just so it's distributed. It doesn't have to be evenly distributed, it just needs to be in there really. And then we're going to add this to our egg and butter mixture. This is already sifted, this flour as well. I think I'll just tip it in this way. All in. And once it comes together, knock your mixer off. We're going to add now 300 grams of apples and pears, and that roughly equates to 2 apples and 2 pears that I got from Aldi. These are the small ones, so I'll just show you, that's my fist and that's the pear, so you can see they're quite small. So I'm going to peel these and chop them up into chunks and put them into my cake, and I'll be back with you when I've chopped them up. So I've chopped up all my apple and my pear into little pieces, and I'm going to pop them into my mixer. If I can get them in. There we go. Just let it mix for a second. Now, it looks a bit dry, this mixture, but I'm not going to add anything to it for the simple reason the apple and the pear, some of the moisture will come out of that when I'm cooking, and I don't want it to be a soggy cake, so I'm going to bring that up. So, pull this back. I'll just make sure I get it off the bottom. And I'm just going to pop it into here. Obviously, if you don't like cinnamon, you could use ginger. Okay. Then just spread it out as evenly as you can. There we go. And we're going to pop this into a heated oven, gas mark 4, for approximately 3/4 of an hour. It may take longer depending on the size of the apples that you've got in there. You need to pop a skewer in to see that it's cooked and that it comes out clean when you do it, to make sure it's cooked. So we'll pop that in the oven for 3/4 of an hour now. So this is my homemade apple, pear and cinnamon cake. Look at that. Some of this is missing because my father-in-law's got it already, but this I'm going to try. So here it is. Look at that. Look at that. That's it. See what it's like. Look at it. Mmm. Mmm. Light as a feather. Can really taste the cinnamon. So if you want to cut down on the cinnamon or use ginger, you feel free. Look how light and fluffy that is. Just look at it. Mmm. Mmm. All made with Aldi ingredients. Lovely. Give it a whirl. To make my chilli, we're going to pop the pan on to a medium heat with a little bit of oil in the bottom of our pan, and I'm going to add to my pan 3 small onions, a red pepper and a yellow pepper from my shopping. I'm going to pop all those in and I'm going to let them soften. And to help that soften, I'm going to add some salt to the pan, just because it's out the water in the vegetables and helps to not be so brown so quickly and therefore burn. You get the maximum flavour that way. Once your onions start to become translucent, it's time to add your mince, and I've got my 10% mince here from Aldi, which I'm going to pop in. That's 500 grams there going in, and I'm going to use my meat chopper to chop it up, and we're going to brown it. So turn your heat up slightly. Let's get this heat going for this one. Ideally, if you've got the time, do it in batches, but I haven't got time, so we're not doing it that way. We're doing it all in a one. We'll get that going, and I'll be back when that's done. Your mince has browned. It's time to add a little bit from your store cupboard. So we're going to add some Lea & Perrins. If you haven't got this, you can leave it out. I'm going to add a generous splash, which is about a tablespoon, and along with that I'm going to add the smoky barbecue seasoning that we have from our Aldi shop. So I'm going to pop that in. Now, according to the ingredients list, there's all kinds in this. We've got dried tomato, yeast extract, dried onion, garlic, salt, paprika, smoke, malt, barley. So there is a lot of stuff that you would generally find in a chilli in this, and mix it in. Now you can add extra garlic if you want to do that, that's up to you. I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of chilli, because there wasn't any chilli in my mix. There we go. And a teaspoon of cumin, just to give it that chilli vibe. If you don't have them in your store cupboard, don't worry. Call it a savoury mince and don't put it in. And I'm going to pop in there now 1 tin of chopped tomatoes that I bought from Aldi, along with some water, about half the cup, half the tin of water. There we go. And just to add a bit more flavour, a couple of beef stock pots, because I do like in my chilli some stock. If you don't have stock, then that's fine, don't use it. Just add the water. And I'm going to let that cook out for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're going to add our beans. Okay, if it needs extra water, then don't be scared to add it. But for now, we're just going to let that do its thing. So my mince has been cooking now for about 10 minutes. And I'm going to add my tin of kidney beans that I purchased. I've drained those. I am cleaning and everything as I go along so that I don't have anything to clean at the end. And I'm going to give that another 10 minutes with a little bit more water, I think. Just because it's starting to get really thick, which is nice. However, I need it to cook for 10 minutes, so a little bit more water. A little bit more water will help that. So that's about 1/4 cup. Give that a stir. And then leave it for 10 minutes. So my chilli has been cooking now for about 10 minutes since I put the beans in. So I'm just going to taste it to see how it's doing, see if it needs any adjustments. Right in the middle. Salt, cumin, chilli. Now for me that's nice, that's good, that's just about right. You can taste the chilli without it being piping and searingly hot for me. You can taste the cumin, there's enough salt in there. What I will put in is some pepper. And I will put some fresh coriander in, so that's 1/4 of the fresh coriander that we have. Mix that through. And I'm going to call that quits at that because it looks lovely and I don't want my coriander to get too well cooked. So that is my chilli. I hope you enjoy it.